And good morning, Internet fans. Admiral Preparedness here. Want to talk about military surplus and some of the pitfalls. Well, when you're out there looking at these military surplus items, I've got one that I want to show you in particular. This is a Swiss, basically, it's an alcohol lamp or alcohol stove that's pre loaded with the gel. And this one here, unfortunately for me, is empty, 3.4 grams or ounces. And these guys here, I bought these about 3 years ago in a package of 16. And I've been meaning to do a video for a long time on these uh, stoves, only because when I got these, they were in a box. They were loose. They they're this one's pretty hefty. This one's not so hefty. But my biggest problem was I was expecting them all to weigh the same, and uh, that wasn't the case. So if you see these out on the marketplace and you're out there with on a telephone and then you decide to purchase these, you might want to think twice. Unless you're on the phone with the vendor and you're asking them some specific questions like, are you going to weigh each one and charge me for the weight and not just the price of the product? Because this is the heaviest one at 7.4 ounces. Then this one here weighs 5.3, and then this one here weighs 3.4. So you're going to get less burn time if there's anything in here at all other than the product itself. We're going to find out because I'm going to open it. This guy here is the heaviest, so it hasn't been completely evaporated out. This one here is a lot less than this one. So when I got these in a box, I could tell when I was taking them out that they didn't feel quite right. I was like, oh man. So I know probably what happened was they don't care. These are all sitting on a shelf, and the picker went by and just put them in a box and moved on. Well, free shipping, of course, so that's not the big to do. It's the fact that I got 16 of these, 13 more of these in my storage that don't weigh. They don't weigh this 7.4, and I don't even know if that's the proper full weight because nothing on here says what it's supposed to weigh full. It's a gelatin, even though it's got the shrink wrap. It can still outgas. Now, looking at the one that's the emptiest, these are. I'm gonna open it up for you, show you. I mean, nothing here is rocket science, folks. It's just you got to be careful what you're buying when you go out to these websites that sell military surplus because they don't care. All they're trying to do is get their wares out there to you, and then buyer beware. I don't call all of them thieves, but it just concerns me. Now, on this one here, you have the lid, and if you look, now I've never opened this up until right now. So there you go. Now, I kind of expected that to occur because of the outgas. So this one's pretty much depleted. Even though the lid was supposed to be the thing that keeps the product from evaporating. Well, there you go. What you're supposed to do is out in the field, you're supposed to take that lid off, minus all the corrosion. You have this guy here, which sits on top, and then you have your cooking stove, that goes what you put on top of it to cook. You're supposed to puncture this part here with a knife, and that's supposed to allow, when you light it, you're supposed to puncture a lot of holes through it so that way it can cook your food. Now what we're going to do now is open up another one, the one that's not the heaviest, because I want to do a demonstration of another ones. So we'll go ahead and crack this one open and see what the condition of the seal is. Again, when you're out there looking on the websites, this is something to take into account, because the people that bought this from the warehouse of the surplus yard, well, you know, they don't know. So we open this one up, and sometimes you really got to put effort to it. I'm not going to be able to get it open. There it went. Okay, pop right open. And once again, you've got this corrosion, which tells me this was in a high moisture, high heat area. And on that one right there, that's the one that weighed the 5 point something ounces. Yeah, 4.5 ounces. So that's well on its way to evaporating and becoming pretty much useless. So let's check the next one. This one is the one that weighs the most. It didn't have a breach in the bottom of the packed plastic. That was one thing that tells me that this one didn't receive a full exposure to the atmosphere. And so what we want to do here is verify that this one survived the test of time, because it has the highest weight and probably has less of corrosion going on also. So let's take a look at that too. All right, it's got the it looks pretty good. And of course, if you can see, there is no corrosion. Now this point right here is a little rubber gasket, and that rubber gasket is an exceptional shape. I don't really mind the dents, because that's expected, because it's been handled around. Now if you look here, you can see a little bit of the white powder. That's a residual from the material on the inside, and I can tell that the material on the inside is almost at the top of the container. Now also, what's interesting on here is you can tighten that down really hard. So this one's going to go back into a vacuum and be kept for a while. What's interesting here is, you know, you could definitely see the difference. I mean, my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. You know, I paid $3 a piece for these. That's $3 a piece. So this one I've definitely got my money's worth. And then these two, well, I may get maybe 5 minutes of burn time, if that, if I get anything at all. So what do you think, folks? What you need to do is, when you're out there looking for this stuff, remember that if it's got some sort of a burning compound, to be careful not to get ripped off. Admiral Preparedness here. We'll talk to you soon.